Well, we are excited to play tomorrow night, and we just want to invite our fans out for an important game, and we'll need a lot of energy and have to play real hard, and a big crowd always helps us and always makes it real special to take the floor at Memorial. So I want to invite all the fans out. It'll be an exciting game, I believe, and we're going to try to really play extremely hard and play with a lot of energy and effort. So Tennessee's a very, very good team, well coached, very talented, and will be a big challenge. So we're excited and working hard to get ready for the game.
Coach, you guys are ranked 10th in the nation. Your record's 16-4. Yet there seems to be a perception out there that you're not having a particularly good year. Could you address that?
Well, you know, I think it's important for me as a coach to really stay focused on this team. I think what that is just a compliment to past accomplishments, and that's not the worst thing in the world to feel like 16-4 is not that great. It just means that we've set a standard here, and so I'm all right with that. I tell you what is so important for me right now is to stay focused on what this team can become, and to do the work necessary each and every day. And we've had teams here in the past where maybe you were thinking in terms of each game having some type of implications for something later on. Right now what we're just trying to do with this team is practice hard every day, fight for constant improvement, because I think it's going to take some time for our best basketball to be realized. And so it's a great opportunity tomorrow night against a very good team, and we'll just work like crazy today to get better than we were yesterday and see if we can play hard tomorrow night.
Do you think that perception is because of the injuries you've had to deal with this year?
Well, no, I would think they're probably working the opposite. I think probably people would recognize that the team, people that cover it daily or really look at it closely would say that this team's done a great job after 20 games to be 16-4 with the schedule that we've played and the adversity that we've hit. So, I really couldn't answer what others' perception of us would be. I'm just really trying to stay focused on what we can become.
How would you describe the team's play since Janae's injury? I mean, the things that you've been able to get maybe out of Michaela in particular, how much has that changed?
Well, have we played three without Janae? I would say that winning 2 of the 3 and 2 of them being on the road is a good thing, certainly, because it did affect our team. So I will say this: I really like the atmosphere around the program right now. I like where the kids, the players, I like where their mind is. I think Baton Rouge was a big wake-up call for us, and I appreciate the players spending the time mentally and emotionally last week really trying to figure out what they could do and really trying to figure out what I could do to help them, and I did the same for them. And so it was a really nice collaboration last week of what direction we need to head in. And, I like where they are right now. And so, results, I think will be good by the end of the year. I think this team is going to work hard enough to become whatever they can become. But I'm excited about the last half of the conference schedule and seeing what we can do.
Is it more of an edge, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Do you see this team kind of developing more of an edge, more determination now to kind of press on from that?
Well, what I noticed that I was doing, and I think it was not helpful, was kind of like the first question, grading them, comparing them to past teams, and you know, that got us into a spot where I was probably more negative than I needed to be with our post players. And you know, Baton Rouge was a big wake-up call for me because as I looked at the film, it was not a team that was playing with great desire, and it was not a team playing with a lot of fire, and it was not a team that was playing particularly sharp. And those, in my mind, are all on me, that I need to have an atmosphere in practice and around the program where people will fight and play hard and give you everything that they have. And so, you know, that's where I just got the post players together last week and talked to them about what, it's not a matter of whether they can or they can't. It's a matter of whether they will or they won't. And I believe they want to be really good. I believe they will do the things necessary to be good. And, you know, I think that it's very important to coach this team and coach this team well. And I am seeing progress daily, and you wish you could see it faster. I think everybody wishes, you know, you could press a button and make things exactly how you want it, but that's not how it works. And they are coming in the gym and they're working extra and they're watching film. And so I really like the atmosphere right now, and I think it gives us a chance to be a very good team at some point in time.
With those post players, I think it was last week's press conference you said that it's almost like you guys are speaking a different language at this point. Is that becoming more of a unified thing together? And how do you, I mean, when they're this young and this, I mean, how do you sort of speed up the process as much as you can?
Well, I think first of all, I had to get my attitude right. I had to get my attitude right, and I needed to change how I was talking to them. And I'm just trying to be as instructional as possible. So let me give you an example. I think that you ought to do the first rep. That ought to be the best rep that you do because you're fresh and we've just gone over it and we've prepared and you need to do it. And we have a couple that the first rep's their worst one. And that would just send me into a tailspin because I'm saying, well, you know, the first one ought to be, well, that's me thinking about me and not thinking about them. And so I just needed to change that to, well, you know, let's see if tomorrow, you know, the first rep didn't go well today, do it again. Let's do it again instead of getting frustrated and saying you're not ready to go and making all these judgments about what's going on in their head. You know, I think that the person who needs to change from a communication standpoint is the person with more experience and the person with more wisdom. And I've got to figure out how to talk to them. You know, I can just keep on banging my head against the wall and talking about how things should be, or I can look at them as they are and figure out how to communicate. So I think it's been better. I'll catch myself sometimes, you know, getting a little negative and saying that they don't want to do this and they don't want to do that, and that's really not the case. They're just not doing some things that we need them to do, and I've got to teach them how to do it. So the person I think that's best equipped right now to figure out the changes in the language so we can all get on the same page is that responsibility falls on me. And then once we're, you know, once we're at a spot where everybody's clear on what should be happening, then it's on the players to make that happen. And so we're making progress with that, and it's a very interesting experience. It's a different experience than we've had in the last, you know, we had Samari and Denisha were sort of transfers and didn't go through sort of the typical freshman type stuff. They had a chance to sit and learn, and they didn't have to play. And then you had them sort of as fixtures in the post for a couple years. And, you know, we just hadn't gone through this in a while. So it's either you can look at it as a great challenge and a positive experience, and that's what I've tried to embrace over the last, since Baton Rouge, is that, these kids have good character, they work hard, make some, in my opinion, silly mistakes at times, but I need to coach them through that. I got to stick with them, stay with them, because that's who we have. That's who's going to be good or going to be bad, and I'm the coach. I signed them, so I need to see if I can help them be good this year. We knew what was coming, so we don't need to be surprised. It's young post players that have to be productive.
How much is that going to be? I mean, how much work? I don't know how to phrase this correctly yet. When you're playing a team like Tennessee that's so dominant in the post and has been for so long, how do you sort of prepare them for that, and how do you prepare yourself mentally for mistakes that are going to come?
Yeah, you just, it's with this team, the opponent's almost irrelevant from the standpoint of what you need to do to be successful, and where Tennessee poses a great challenge is very important. If we want to be a really good team at the end of the year, we're going to play teams like Tennessee that are going to go to the offensive glass and are going to be tough and they're going to be physical in the post. And so it's a great opportunity for our post players to compete and to see where they stack up right now. And so we're definitely preparing for Tennessee and getting ready for Tennessee and preparing for victory tomorrow night. But the things that we're working on in practice, I don't know if they're a lot different than if we were playing Georgia on Sunday, or I don't know who comes after that. There are just certain things that this team has to do right now to get better. And so you're not really tweaking a lot with this team as far as game plans. It can't be real complicated right now. We've had teams when we had, say, Amani Franklin, Lydia Watkins, Victoria Dunlap in our 3-post rotation. You could change in the middle of a game. You could change schemes. Hey, this isn't working. Why don't we do this? And they could almost tell you what you needed to do. And so you could run different underneath out of bounds plays week to week to take advantage of your opponent. There was more that you could scheme. That this has to be a lot more simple. And that doesn't mean it can't be good. That doesn't mean we can't win tomorrow night. I mean, we just have to do what we've been working on real well, and we have to play extremely hard, and we have to outwork Tennessee, and we have to play a lot harder than Tennessee. And, it's just different. It's just different right now.
I know the next game is the biggest game, but how are players kind of embracing this rivalry with Tennessee now? I mean, maybe with South Carolina becoming the top team at the moment, do you see players approaching this game a little bit differently as opposed to past years where it was the game?
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying, and it would be. I say our players approaching the game with a lot of passion and enthusiasm because I think they're trying to get better. And again, there may be some years where that I might approach the game differently because I might put more emphasis on Tennessee. We're really trying to work on what we need to do to be successful. I think the worst thing that I can do is to go in and tell Alexis Jennings, we got to get in here and beat Tennessee, and if we don't beat Tennessee, the world's going to stop turning, and it's going to be. She's got enough in her brain right now just to know what she needs to be doing in ball screen defense, and what she needs to be doing in the press, and what she needs to be doing, in our offensive sets. That I really haven't put a lot of emphasis on the game, not because we don't respect Tennessee or we don't think it's a very big game. All of them are big for us right now. But the veterans, Bria Goss, she knows what it's going to be like. Jen O'Neill knows it's an important game. It's an important rivalry. And I just haven't had a lot of time to work that angle because we've got so many things that this team needs to to do and improve on. And, you know, we're trying. We've got 32 days now until senior day, and we are just trying to build every day on some improvement and see what we can become at the end of the season.
Matthew, what's the challenge of competing against Sierra Burdick? I remember last year after the SEC championship game, you all seemed a little agitated about her. So what will you tell your players about her going into this game?
Well, you know, I think, again, what's so important for our team right now is to understand tomorrow night the challenge is very great with Tennessee because of not one single player, but because of their team. They are very big, very athletic, very explosive, and we talk about their post game, but their perimeter players are. Andrea Carter's just a big, lanky, explosive, powerful athlete. Jordan Reynolds is 6 feet tall and arms for days, and just they're a big team, and we're not, and so we have to play real hard, and we have to stay focused on ourselves to the point of almost. I mean, you certainly can't get caught up in the opponent right now, because what we need to do is very specific. This needs to be a game where tempo matters and where the turnover margin matters, and if it's going to turn out well for us, it needs to matter positively for us. I mean, we need to compete on the boards. I don't know if we have to win the boards to win the game, but if we don't win the boards, that turnover margin better be pretty good, to kind of even that out. And so there's so many things that we need to do well mentally and emotionally, just so we can be a good team. That we have really approached this as far as we have presented them. This is what Tennessee players can do, whether it be Carter or Burdick or Graves or Harrison. I mean, we're at a different spot than maybe we were in the SEC championship, tournament championship last year, and emotions running high after the game and emotions running high during the game. And so that seems like a long time ago right now, and we're not approaching the game whatsoever with any axe to grind with any certain player. Tennessee really has a fine team this year, and it will be a tremendous challenge tomorrow night.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody.